Welcome, everyone. I'm Leila Logene Butler. I'm a senior real estate specialist with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate, and I'm your co-host for the show today. And I'd like to introduce my co-host, Dave Hosfeld.
Thank you, Logene. Here on Encore, we spotlight the best of housing, healthcare, and financial programs and services to benefit our community.
And we do that with relevant conversation, educational information, and joyful play in a talk show for seniors called Encore, the talk show for seniors.
Logene, who do we have on our show today?
Well, we have Alex from Operation Dignity, who you know well.
We do indeed. This gentleman and his organization is doing wonderful things for homeless veterans and has some great plans for senior homeless veterans, so stay tuned. And we also have
Drummond Threet, who is a mortgage broker with Citibank. He works out of my Berkeley office, and we're excited to have him on the show today to talk with us about veterans and loans that are available to them.
Yes, indeed. Drummond is debuting as a public service announcer on our show to help people understand about mortgages and home purchases. Anytime that you need to get a hold of him, you just make contact with us. All right, here we go. Okay, folks, we're taking a road trip today to Alameda, California, and joining Operation Dignity to see what they do for homeless veterans.
The fact that we have so many homeless that live right here for years as homeless people. There's a culture, a whole subculture of homeless people with children and parents, and it's just crazy.
We're behind the outreach van that takes food and clothing out to the homeless encampments.
We are at Dignity Commons in Alameda, California. This is a transitional program for homeless veterans, and we service, again, veterans in Alameda. We actually have serviced veterans as far, San Francisco, Palo Alto, all kinds, California, Arizona, all over. As long as you have served in the military, you pretty much qualify for our services here. You have to be homeless in need of services. And we have outreach. We actually do have a great team of people that go out to a lot of the homeless encampments. Actually, a lot of the veterans out there don't really know that there is options as far as housing and to get off the streets and find that support that you're looking for. We also do partner with the VA very closely, and they come in and they kind of ask, where can I go? What's out there? I'm homeless. I'm in another program. Things aren't working, and I need help.
Moving on, we arrive at House of Dignity, transitional housing for veterans. I know House of Dignity quite well, having lived here, transitioning from homelessness myself. This is where I met Alex at Operation Dignity. We were greeted by a gracious staff and given a pleasant tour.
All of the rooms are structured kind of different. Some are bigger than others. Because this is on this side of the building, the room is a little smaller. Okay, but technically when the vets come in, they normally get a bed, a dresser, a nightstand, so we don't really want them to bring a lot of stuff because it's exactly what it says. It's transitional housing. We want them to get what they need. Yeah. Relax from a hard day after doing their services, do all that kind of good stuff. They share information with one another.
We had the opportunity to see some of the common areas where veterans were able to congregate, play cards, get to know one another. And we also got to see the laundry and kitchen facilities. Great meals served there, very clean, very accommodating. We all just really enjoyed our tour there as well. Great place to be, great place to eat. Love it. Just love it. So here we are at Shinsei Gardens, affordable housing for senior veterans, family veterans. Took a lovely tour of the interior common areas of the community with picnic benches, beautiful trees, well landscaped and very well maintained for our veterans. There was a family play yard we also got to see. And along with the exterior common areas, we talked a little bit about the green construction.
Approximation, that was one of the questions that you asked me earlier. How close are we to buses, public transportation?
Very nice, ladies.
Yeah.
Very nice. Indeed, it was very nice. Great computer room. We also got to see the community room with very nice tables, lovely seating areas, a fireplace, something the veterans can meet as groups, as families. Along with the community room was a very nice, well-equipped kitchen to serve the needs of veterans and their families. And I just know that senior veterans would love using this.
Yeah.
Is to find some place for our aging veteran population.
Yes.
You know.
Because they're aging faster than any
Faster.
group.
Yeah.
Yes, hold on me.
Logina and I were so happy to view Shinsei Gardens, and we knew that this was a wonderful thing for veterans, but we knew also this was just a drop in the bucket for veteran housing. But the big possibility with the correct funding is we could have housing for senior veterans. Here at Naval Air Station Alameda, we viewed a piece of property that Operation Dignity has had their eye on. It's the Bachelor Officers' Quarters at the old Naval Air Station. It's 300 units of unused space that, with the right funding, could be rehabbed properly and beneficially for all senior veterans. We enjoyed our tour of the property, and it got us thinking about what it is we're doing today for the senior veterans of the Bay Area. Welcome back. And Logine, what do you think about that?
Well, Dave, I'm really grateful that you shared that information with us, and now I know how you met Alex, so I'll let you introduce Alex.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you Alex McElray, the CEO and founder of Operation Dignity.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Alex, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, as you saw in some of the clips there, we had the opportunity to tour some of the communities that you have created and developed for homeless veterans.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about how that all came about?
It really came about when I discovered how many homeless veterans there were back in 1993. The majority of them being Vietnam, Korean, and World War II.
So senior veterans.
But 32% of all single male in the county of Alameda were veterans were homeless
Wow.
at that time. So there was close to 10 to 12,000 homeless on the street at any given night.
I believe it.
And so I just, I decided to do something about it. I was able to rent a house from a local landlord to fix it up, and we fixed it up, and we went and got some homeless veterans and brought them home.
Now, did you get any help from the government to help these veterans?
Not initially. After about 2 to 3 years of working with the veterans I had, living off of their welfare check or my Social Security check, we were able to get a grant from the Grant and Per Diem program from the Department of Veterans Affairs.
So you literally supported these people until the government was able to provide some sort of assistance.
Well, and they supported themselves also with whatever they could contribute to food and donations we could collect and that kind of thing.
Community effort.
It was a little rough in the beginning, yeah.
Do you still have that facility, that house today?
No, that facility we sold that facility for a bigger facility. We now have, which is called the House of Dignity. and it is on 8th Street in Oakland.
We had the opportunity to tour it, Logine and
Yes, and we met Barbara.
Yes.
I think the catching point for that building for me was the kitchen, because when I was homeless, one of the biggest fears I had was being cold and hungry. And it had a kitchen that had been open for a short time, and then the nonprofit that had it before us had closed that kitchen. And so the kitchen was really a blessing for us, because now we're able to feed people. And when homeless people, especially the veterans we work with, when they're able to have a safe, secure place to live and warm food in their stomach, they think better. They make better decisions. Operation Dignity doesn't make the decisions for them. They make the decisions. We just try to help them make the better decisions.
Wonderful. Now, how many does House of Dignity house over there? How many veterans can you house?
We house up to 60.
Wow.
And that's men and women?
That's single male only, because it doesn't have separation facilities for the women.
Okay.
You have to have secure facilities for the women. So we moved the women we did have. Originally, women went in there. We moved them to the Alameda facility.
Oh, we were there also.
We did tour the Alameda facility. So in addition to housing, I understand that you provide some support services. Can you tell us a little bit about that as well?
We have support staff on around the clock at the House of Dignity and during the day, and then we have a resident manager at night at the Alameda facility, or the Berkeley facility, and the Berkeley facility. We provide social services, money management, just basic learning life skills, having to learn life skills all over again, to the point of anywhere from learning to take a shower again every day, washing your clothes.
Oh my goodness,
These are
yes.
things that when you spend a long time in the street, you just lose the ability to do that. You just forget, and it just it's no longer important.
Wonderful. Now, what about medical? Is there any type of medical services provided, or do you outsource that to the VA?
Almost all the medical services, because of the grant and per diem program, they have to be referred through the VA. So that means they more than likely are eligible for medical services. Those that are not eligible for medical services but are eligible for housing, those people are outsourced to another program.
And do you have any job counseling, Alex?
We don't, right now we don't do a lot of job counseling. We collaborate with other agencies that already do that. I believe in doing what I can do best.
Yes.
And if everybody's going after the job money, then there's less money for really good programs to get going. So I don't have a lot of experience with finding jobs for them, so I send them to the people that I trust that are going to help them get jobs.
So you're really first line of care then when it comes to bringing homeless veterans in. Is that what it is?
We have a mobile outreach service that goes out into the encampments in Oakland through a grant from the city of Oakland, and many of those are veterans, and then those veterans, when they want to, are brought in and just taken from right where they're at, and we work with them from right where they're at. If it's learning how to bathe again, we teach them how to do that. If some people function higher, so they won't be with us as long. We move them to the programs that are appropriate for them through counseling and screening. So we have the counseling on site. They also see VA counselors. They see a psychiatrist. They see a psychologist. They see a medical doctor. So all of those needs are cared for. the biggest issue we had for a long time was that the families of these veterans had no
Yes.
medical care. And now, with one of our collaboration partners is Lifelong Medical and Abode Services and Building Futures for Women and Children. And with that collaboration, we were able to combine domestic violence, medical services, and
fabulous.
housing services.
Yes.
We also have a program that we just renewed for $1 million, and that program is to permanently house veterans and their families.
And where would that be, Alex?
That's out of our office in Oakland, also out of Abode's office in Fremont, out of Building Futures for Women and Children in San Leandro, and Lifelong at 17th and Broadway.
Wonderful.
Now, Alex, I understand there's a project that's your dream that you mentioned to us that you're moving forward on, and we'd like to hear about that.
Well, we've been in negotiations with the city of Alameda for years over what we're going to do with the base and rebuilding the infrastructure. And at some point, they're going to want to knock down the houses that we have and maybe build us new ones, or hopefully we'll get new ones built. But they have a building out there called the Bachelor Officers Quarters,
Yes, I'm familiar with that.
which has 300 rooms. It has a rather, because the people, the public went in there and trashed it, pulled all the copper and just made a big mess of it. The rehab is going to be more expensive. We're hoping to negotiate with the Navy and the VA and Congress to create a senior facility out there where we're going to have respite care and as well as nursing care for seniors that want to remain living in the community, don't necessarily want to go to the veterans home in Yountville.
Oh, fabulous.
But yet they can't live by themselves or take care of themselves. They need somebody to help them with the bathroom and bathing and that kind of thing. So we want to create that facility in the Bachelor Officers Quarters.
So have you submitted a proposal for this? Are you seeking funds, or tell us where you are in that process?
We've been to Washington once to have talks with some of the Congress people. We were also talking with the VA and the Navy. And we're in the process of trying to raise some money, but until the city of Alameda gives us the final word and gives us the go that that's our building, we need that building under our control for about 5 years in order to raise $35 million.
Oh, all right.
But that's my vision. That's what I would like to see happen, and I think could happen. Operation Dignity was built on the idea that if you build it, they'll come.
Yes.
And every time we've built it, they've come. And I believe the senior facility is the one thing that the VA is really lacking.
Yes, they are.
There's a big gap in the seniors in the community that are living in places that get very little care, and they're not well kept hygiene-wise and stuff like that, and we want to bring that to an end.
And a lot of these are war veterans who have served honorably.
That's
might
correct.
add.
The ones I'm talking about now are either Korean or really the tail end of the World War II veterans.
Yes.
And now, being a Vietnam veteran, I'm now 66, so that makes me puts me in the senior category. So now we're starting to see a lot of Vietnam veterans that will be moving through that cycle where
Yes.
maybe they'll get sick, their kidneys will go bad or whatever, and they'll need that kind of help. So we're hoping to be able to provide that.
Oh, that's wonderful, Alex.
But we need the city of Alameda and the VA and the Navy and the Congress to come together and say that these veterans' lives are worth something.
Yes.
We don't turn seniors away now.
No.
I mean, we have people 85, 80, 81 that are with us, and we do the best we can, and we try to get them the care they need. But it's really difficult, and it takes a while to get the in-house care. We'd like to shorten that time or get a building like the BOQ where we could hire staff that's on there 24 hours a day with them.
So the BOQ is actually an empty shell. It's not being utilized. There is no tenant there at present time.
At this time, my understanding is that it is empty, and
Unoccupied?
we're the first ones asking for it.
Okay.
All right.
Alex,
very
thank
much.
you so
Thank
much
you.
for joining us today.
Thank you for
Alex.
having us.
All right. Well, we have with us today Drummond Threet of Citibank, and he's going to talk with us about veteran loans.
Thank you both for having me here today.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. How long have you been in the business? And I know you're new to Citibank. Is that correct?
Yes, I've been with Citibank just over 4 months.
Okay.
And I've been in the business over 10 years now. So
Okay.
enjoying my time in the mortgage and real estate industry.
So you've been through the ups and downs with us.
Oh yes, I've had a chance to be at the highest of highs, and then we had some lows, and
There's some lowest
we're
of
on the way
lows.
back again.
Yes, we're on our way back again, and we're excited to have you here because we know that there are veterans out there that are interested in purchasing homes, and we need to share that information with them. So what types of loans are available in California for veterans?
Oh, we have a wonderful loan. The VA loan is just a terrific product.
Now, is that
for
a
our
guaranteed
veterans.
loan? The VA guarantees it?
Yes, that is correct. That is correct. Guaranteed by the federal government on that. So it is a 100% financing loan, although you can put money down.
Okay.
But for those who may not have as much to put down, it is one of the very few 100% financing loans that are still available in the marketplace.
And is there a little higher interest rate that goes along with that or not?
No, not at all.
Not at
at all,
all.
actually. No, actually, the VA loan, the interest rate has actually been trending even lower than your conventional loan.
So,
that you may
we're
have out
somewhere
there.
around 3%?
About 3.25%.
Okay.
At this point in time.
Okay.
Based on yesterday's rates, which we carried.
Right,
carried through.
yeah.
I need to see
Exactly.
you Monday morning.
Yeah,
Not a
oh,
problem.
That's wonderful.
Not a problem.
Now, over the years, my 25 years, I've heard different things about VA loans. Is it true that they take a little longer to close escrow because of different types of inspections and things that are required?
Well, that is correct. That is
Okay.
correct. Your typical VA loan is going to run you about 45 days. So
Okay.
a little longer than what some of the other products that are out there may take. But it is because of a couple of things. So there's some different funding sources with our appraisal. The appraisals are very, very, very thoroughly checked through our company as well as through the VA process. So that takes a bit longer. We do want to make sure the property is in wonderful shape for our veteran and their family to go ahead and start living in. So it's a very, very thorough process as far as that goes. But other than that, it's really handled just like any other loan that's out there. Just a few more checks and balances, but we do want to make sure we're doing the best thing for those who've gone and served our country.
How many VA loans have you been seeing lately?
We're starting to have an uptick. I would say this particular year, I've started processing and started taking a few more applications just in this year alone than I have in the last 3 to 4 years. And I think that has a lot to do with a lot of our current veterans, when I say current, meaning those who've kind of fought in Afghanistan and Iraq,
Yes, okay.
coming back home now, those getting some job opportunities. They've been at work into the regular workforce for a few years now, and now are able to use that particular loan, as well as some information getting out to those who may have served before that never used their loan.
Now, let me just ask you a couple of questions, more detail about the VA loan. Is there a requirement that the seller contribute something to the loan or to the close of escrow?
Good question.
No, so the seller can, they can contribute 3% towards the closing costs
Okay.
of the loan. So that is one thing that can help in terms of not having to bring in as much money to the closing.
Okay.
For the buyer. So that can be wonderful. It's not required that they always do that, but they can. But definitely some of the same things we do where we may split the city transfer tax or some of the other fees that may come about in purchasing a new home. Those things are allowed as well on the VA loan.
Okay. And is there a VA inspector? I've always heard that there was a VA inspector. Is that true?
Well, they definitely have, there's different certifications for the home inspector that they
okay.
would definitely have. And then those inspections are then, once those things are sent in, then that's double checked, per se, by the VA. So not necessarily a VA, you can be a VA approved inspector, but not necessarily someone who has to have that every single time.
So let me get this straight, and just for some vets that may be in the audience who have yet to purchase a home, you're talking about a home loan for veterans with little to no money down, is that correct?
That is correct.
And closing cost can be negotiated.
Closing costs can be negotiated. The seller can contribute 3%, up to 3% towards the closing costs, which generally in most cases covers the full amount of closing costs. So it would be
that's
wonderful
wonderful.
for the veteran to come in. They can have 100% financing, meaning no money down, be able to save money for some of the other things they would need later on in fixing up on the house, per se, or in buying other things, for the home. But it's a great, great product for our veterans to use to buy homes in our current marketplace.
Now, let me just ask you, is there a difference between a regular VA and a CalVet loan?
Good question.
Good one, good one. A bit of one. Really, there's just another third party that can be contributed to what the CalVet would do. As far as, so in terms of closing costs or down payment assistance programs, that's where they can kind of come in and do a little bit more if needed.
If needed, okay.
If
There's
needed,
a little
so-
bit more assistance in a CalVet loan.
Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic.
Those I haven't seen at all this year. It's
Okay.
mostly just been your
The
VA loan
Okay.
that's going out and going around.
Why is that?
Well, I believe it's definitely has to do with the current marketplace, us not having as many properties on the market as we've had in previous years. So kind of any type of third-party assistance towards a home loan has been a little difficult to get negotiated with the seller.
Oh, that's right, because it's so competitive, the seller's looking for the cleanest and easiest transaction.
That is correct.
Yeah, and a third party tends to elongate the escrow period.
That is correct.
Yes, yes,
That is correct.
yes.
That is
What
correct.
other programs are there available for vets? Say, for instance, a vet finds a fixer-upper, and he would like that house, he likes the neighborhood, but it needs fixing up. Are there programs that would allow them to do that?
Yes, well, we could also, the same funding source can be used with FHA. An FHA loan on FHA 203K rehab loan, which is also a wonderful, wonderful product. That requires we put down about 3.5% of the purchase price to go ahead and get that particular one closed. But it's a wonderful product to use as well. What you're able to do is you may buy a home, and especially if it's not in tip-top shape, you buy it probably at a reduced price than what some other ones may be on the market. But the beautiful thing is once that home has been rehabbed, you now get the new appraised value. So it's sometimes you may have almost some built-in equity in some cases with that. So
Fabulous.
it's another way that a veteran can look at purchasing a home as well.
Oh, my God, that's so much great information. Yes.
Drummond, in fact, we would like for you to, this is your debut on our show, and we would like for you to join us every few months for our housing series and talk to people in the audience and be available on our website for calls, public service announcements for people who need to know a little bit more about home lending and what it takes to get there.
I would love the opportunity. We have
Oh,
some
thank you.
Thank
wonderful
you so
programs
much.
that are out
And
there.
thank you
so
for
we'd love
joining
it.
us.
Thank you for
Thank you for
sharing
having me
your
here.
time with us today.
appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
All right.
What a great show we've had today,
Yes,
Dave.
this has been great,
Yes,
and
it
it's
has.
been heartfelt because being a veteran, I really understand and feel for the veterans that are out there, especially the homeless veterans.
Oh, definitely,
Yes,
definitely. I
indeed.
feel too.
Indeed.
Yes.
Thanks for coming, folks.
Thank you.
All right.